Hello friends, and welcome to our video about explaining the standards of craftsmanship. To receive full credit for this homework, what you need to do is copy down everything that I have written out, as well as fill in the blanks. The blanks are these purple highlighted areas. It's how you know that you need something there. Down here at the end, I'll give you some examples of sentences about craftsmanship, and you guys can write those down there if you would like. Alright, explaining the standards of craftsmanship. This is one of our objectives, and our goal is to be able to say truthfully that I can explain the standards of craftsmanship. This is our rubric. It will be on every assignment you receive where craftsmanship is a grade. You'll see it does move 1, 2, 3, 4, and what I've done here is I've highlighted for you all of the big differences between the levels. So a 1 means that you either didn't turn it in, you didn't put your name on it, or you never finished your work. Okay? For a 2, you need to finish your artwork by doing your best to meet each of the requirements. So you need to prove to me that your work is finished in order to receive a 2. For a 3, which is where we're going, what we're going to add to our finished work is the ability to explain the standards of craftsmanship. Be aware that they need to be specific to a given technique, and that will be the meat of our project. So the technique could be painting, it could be wax resist, it could be slab building with clay. If you're going for a 4, you still need to explain the standards of craftsmanship, but you also should be able to demonstrate them. So for each standard of craftsmanship that you explained, we should see that you achieved it. Each of your unit projects will have a table identifying the unique standards of craftsmanship for a given project or technique. You guys have 6 vocabulary words for this standard: craftsmanship, quality, technique, attention to detail, durability, and function. Craftsmanship is noticing the little things that make a big difference in your work, and then actually paying attention to those things to increase the value or desirability of that work. If we were in English, this might be something like your spelling or crumpled up paper. If your paper is nice and smooth and flat like this, your work appears to have better quality, and if you don't have any spelling errors, your work will also appear to be of higher value. Quality. This is essentially what we get when we compare 2 types of items. If one lasts longer than the other, it is of a higher quality. If it is more design savvy, it looks nicer than the other. Even if they both serve the same purpose just as well, the one that looks nicer will be perceived to have a higher quality or value. When we talk about technique, we are talking about the way we make art. So, different techniques, as stated before, include things like oil painting, acrylic painting, using clay, watercolor, ink, crayons, colored pencil. Attention to detail is simply noticing the small things that make a big difference. It's all those little things that we have to pay attention to. Durability is the ability of something to last through what is considered normal use without falling apart prematurely. And function is the ability of an object to serve its purpose. For example, if your name tag functions, it means that people can read your name and it helps them learn what you go by. All right, let's move on to the steps. Step 1, explain how you knew your artwork was finished. This will help you nail a 2. Hint. Ask yourself, what would happen if you continued working on your artwork? Step 2. This is how you begin working towards a 3. Identify a standard of craftsmanship specific to the technique or project that we are working on. The hint here is to look at the table on craftsmanship that is attached to your project. The standards of craftsmanship will be divided into 3 categories: attention to detail, durability, and function. Choose a standard of craftsmanship under one of those categories that is specific to our technique, and you will be working towards a 3. To nail the 3, you need to complete step 3. To do this, explain what you had to pay attention to in order to achieve the standard of craftsmanship, or explain what would happen if you did not meet the standard. Your tip here is to remember that sometimes you have to make a mistake or not meet a standard of craftsmanship in order to find out why it matters so much, or what we had to pay attention to. This brings us to important things that we should remember. The first one, craftsmanship is important because it increases the value and desirability of your work. It also communicates a message about yourself and how much you care about the things that you do and how people perceive you. 2, different art forms have different standards of craftsmanship. For example, if I am making something out of clay, I want to make sure there are no air bubbles in the clay so that it doesn't explode when we fire it in the kiln. That would affect its durability and ability to function. It's also a failure to pay attention to detail. If we're painting, though, we want to make sure that we gesso the thing that we're painting on before adding paint. This is important because it increases the durability of the painting, and it also means that you get to use less paint. So this is a durability and function area of craftsmanship for painting. You do not have to worry about gessoing the surface you're painting on if you are firing a ceramic piece. 3, good craftsmanship comes with purposeful practice. You are going to have to make mistakes and practice in order to get good at craftsmanship. This is why in 6th grade, we are focusing simply on explaining the standards of craftsmanship. If you are going for a 4, check out the video demonstrating craftsmanship for 7th graders. Let's move on to examples, and you guys can take notes here as you would like. This is one of the very first paintings I made. I did it in college. And I want to point out to you here this corner. I don't think there's, let me take this off the stand to help you see it. Alright, here's the painting. Okay, I built the thing that this canvas is stretched on. Alright, I want to point out all of this extra canvas hanging off. This is an issue with function. If I want to be able to hang this on the wall, this canvas is going to get in the way. Also, this corner, do you see that shape? This is an attention to detail issue. When I was cutting the wood to fit it together, I didn't pay enough attention to the angle that I was cutting it at, and that's why nothing lines up, okay? Now, what could happen, because I wasn't paying attention to that, is the wood can poke through this and it is not durable anymore. Nobody wants a hole in their painting. So that was the very first one I made. This is a more recent one I've made. And you'll see that I have better attention to detail as far as aesthetics or the way it looks. And if we look at the corners of this stretcher that I built, you'll see that we don't have the issue that we did on this one. And the reason is because I have had years of practice now. I understand what I need to pay attention to. I understand the consequences of not paying attention, right? And I've had practice with the tools and skills. This is another art piece. My boyfriend's cousin did it. And I want to point out that I can tell he used the grid system when doing this. I can tell because there is evidence of poor craftsmanship. Do you know what it is? The number one rule in art is to not let people know what your secrets are. If this artist had been paying attention to detail, they would have fully erased all of these grid lines before washing different layers of ink over the drawing. And then we wouldn't know that he didn't draw this by hand. He used a grid system. There's nothing wrong with that. Artists use lots of tools to help improve their craft, but the key is to keep them secret. So this is an attention to detail thing. It doesn't affect its durability or its function. In fact, it functions very well because the artist was able to get everything in the right spot, but it is an attention to detail issue. All right, I look forward to helping you guys understand how to explain the standards of craftsmanship in class. Remember, you have this video to review at any point during the semester. See you later.